I've been playing bass since the mid-70s, since before I started working here. And I've spent most of my career as a bass player playing Fender style basses. I really, fell in love with Fender basses as just a great feeling and great sounding instrument. So I'm very much attached to the traditional Fender sound, both in jazz bass and P bass. I found that the linear humbuckers are a way where I can modernize my instrument but still retain the traditional sound. I'm able to get rid of the problems with hum and noise and all the buzz and just the noisy environmental stuff that creeps into your sound that you really would rather not have there, but retain the traditional tonality, the traditional feel and sound of the jazz bass. Jazz bass players have struggled with this hum issue for years, and generally the way that most jazz bass players approach it is they just turn both pickups on all the time and you get rid of the hum that way. Unfortunately, there's some really special sounds that are available just playing the bridge only, which a lot of guys play for a real quacky, kind of punchy sound, or just playing the neck pickup only for a very smooth, more legato sound. Technology has advanced. We've ended up with more and more electronic noise in our environment, so the ability to get away with using single coil pickups has just diminished tremendously. Guys can't get away with it, especially in the studio. There's just too much noise that's in any environment these days. Cell phone noise, dimmers, transformer noise, 60 cycle hum, RF, everything else. There's tremendous noise that goes on in our environment these days. We're full of electronic devices everywhere you go. So you really can't get away with single coil pickups in most situations unless it's some non-critical outdoor gig where you're playing at somebody's bar mitzvah or something like that. You might be able to get away with it under those conditions, but most guys can't. And so the linear humbucker is a way to retain that same single coil jazz bass sound that everybody has gotten to love, and it's really found its place in music. It really became popular in the 60s, and it's got its place in the musical sound. So they enable you to retain that traditional sound without all the hum and noise. String-to-string balance on old jazz basses a lot of times can be off, especially on the higher strings. As you play across the neck from the E and A strings, as you cross into D and G, a lot of times the output drops, and sometimes even on the A string the output drops. So we've addressed that issue, done a little bit of fattening on the bridge pickup. So we've stayed really close to the traditional jazz bass tonality, but we've addressed some performance issues that I feel make the pickup easier to play, make it perform a little bit better, just make it sound more consistent in a mix or in a band situation.